Alrighty then, guys, so welcome to the Bert MMA QNA podcast, episode 2. So if you're watching this live stream, once the live stream is no longer a live stream, of course, we're just going to be setting up the live stream really quick, putting in the thumbnail, putting in some comments and things like that. But if you want to see all of the 20, 30, 50 different topics that we will be talking about in today's live stream, check down in the description below. We have the timestamps for every single subject that we will be talking about in this live stream. Also, if you want to become a channel member to see all of the UFC, Bellator, PFL, just all of the MMA bets that we will be making, it's only 10 cents. Follow those instructions down in the comment section below and become a member to see all of my MMA bets. With all that being said, let's get the thumbnail in here and let's get the pinned comments as well. And yeah, let's get this live stream up and running because it's going to be a very, very good live stream in this one. And that's pretty much all of the stuff that we will be talking about in today's live stream. Just got to get it to go public really quick. Let's go on. And 3, 2, 1, public. We are live in the UFC's middleweight division. What is up, everybody? But yeah, what is up, everybody? All right. All right, guys. What is up, everybody? So we're going to have the comments right here on my phone so I can answer all the comments and questions that all of you guys do have. But yeah, Bert MMA Q&A podcast episode 2. We got many things to talk about. Now, we already did our UFC 271 full card prediction a little earlier today. We already made all 15 of those predictions. If you want to go check those ones out, you definitely can do so. But we have plenty of things to go over. The first thing is going to be the questions that were asked on my community post. The first one right here is going to be any ideas to improve UFC judging or the scoring system itself. I said at least 5 judges. Right now in the UFC, we have around 3 judges. We have Sal D'Amato and 2 other random guys. And every now and then, 2 of those guys might get the judging wrong. And they might just do an absolutely horrible take and give the fight to the wrong person. So if there was 5 people, I think there'd be more of a chance that no stupid thing's gonna happen where the person that is losing the fight actually ends up winning. So the first thing I would do to improve UFC judging and the scoring system, first off with UFC judging, would be to have 5 judges, and to kind of help with the scoring system, I would say make the results around 30 minutes after the fight is done. So have one fight, say it's the first fight of the night, we have, I don't know, Drew Dober versus Khamzat, some random fight like that. Very, very close decision. Could have gone either way, but we do not actually do the result right after the fight is done. We don't go in, they just finish fighting and then they do the results. They wait till after the fight after that has finished. So they wait for their fight to be done, the fight after that one to be done, and then after that one, then they come back in the octagon and then they said, we've tallied up the scorecards, we've figured out 29-28, Khamzat wins by a unanimous decision. I think a little bit extra time for the judges to review the fights, not necessarily just go out there and just watch the fight one time and then that be what their judging criteria is based on, but have them watch the fight live, of course, and then 20 minutes after that one, just re-watch the fight one time and then do what the fight is. Give the results after that. Do not just do it so the judges are watching the fight once. If you make the judges watch the fight 2 times, the chances that they're going to do the wrong thing and give the fight to the wrong person, I think it goes way, way down. I think we'll see a very, very big diminishing of bad judging and bad calls from the judges. So I think that's what I would do there. Sean Strickland versus Cannonier, Till, Brunson, Whittaker, Adesanya, Gastelum, Costa, Chimaev, and Muniz, a quick pick. Strickland versus Cannonier. I'm going to go Strickland decision. Strickland versus Till. I got Strickland decision. Strickland, Brunson. That's a tough one. I'm going to go Strickland on there. Whittaker, I got Whittaker decision. Adesanya, I got Adesanya decision. Gastelum, I got Sean Strickland. Costa, I got Sean Strickland. Chimaev, Sorry about that. I got Sean Strickland, and then Muniz, I have Muniz winning. So the only guys that really think go out there and beat Sean Strickland are the #1 and the champion Robert Whittaker and Israel Adesanya, as well as Andre Muniz. Those are the only guys I really see Sean Strickland losing to. Everyone else, I think Sean Strickland honestly beats. So right now in that UFC middleweight division, I believe he's the caliber to be at least #3 in the UFC middleweight division. His next fight should probably be either the loser of Brunson Cannonier or the loser of Whittaker Adesanya. I'm more leaning towards the loser of Whittaker Adesanya. If Whittaker loses that one, Whittaker needs to build himself back up. So another guy he has not fought in Sean Strickland, it would be a pretty good fight. So I would say that's a fight to make next, but I don't think Strickland beats Whittaker or Adesanya. Everyone else, even Marvin Vettori, I'm gonna actually side towards Sean Strickland to win. Andre Muniz, Whittaker, and Adesanya, the only guys I do not think win. Strickland versus Khamzat Chimaev, who wins? That's another guy. I would go Khamzat Chimaev. Khamzat's boxing is very solid. He's got very, very good power in his hands. A lot of people underestimate that side of his game because he's usually going out there, taking it down and smashing you on the ground. That's kind of his game plan. But I would say, in that type of fight, he's never fought as good of a wrestler and grappler. We just saw him fight Jack Hermansson, who's nowhere near as good of a wrestler and grappler as Khamzat Chimaev. And Khamzat already out-wrestled and grappled Jack Hermansson, so I do believe Khamzat would be able to pressure Sean back, land the takedowns, and win that one. So I'd go Khamzat there. Any ideas on your pro MMA fighter nickname, or is that something you need to earn in the future? I put a right there because I'm not too sure. I was thinking of maybe just making my nickname something really, really stupid just to kind of promote the channel and just be Bert MMA on YouTube to Les or something stupid like that, just to give a little bit of recognition to the channel. So like if I'm in the UFC, Bruce Buffer kind of has to say the nickname. So if he's gonna say the nickname, why not make it something like Bert MMA on YouTube just for fun, you know? So yeah, I'd probably either do that or let the fans decide. Do you find that women in MMA are usually less technical than the men, even though they have same access to coaches and training? And if so, why do you think that is? I believe the guys are probably going to be a little bit more technical. So, and the reason is going to be the speed, the power, and like the hormones that are inside them. Men are just a lot better at fighting than women are. They're just going to be a lot bigger, a lot stronger. They're a lot faster. Everything you would think about in a fight, whether it comes to striking, grappling, wrestling, all that type of stuff, the guy, if they have the exact same amount of training, the guy is going to be better. So the technique is really going to be magnified by that speed and the power at which the guy throws that technique as to which the girl is throwing the technique. So even if the woman and the guy do have the same amount of training with these same exact coaches, they're the exact same size, exact same experience in MMA, the guy's just going to look a lot more technical if they are focusing on the technique, just because they are a lot faster and a lot more powerful. So that is why I have guys being a little bit more technical than the women. But yeah, that is it for the questions asked on here. Now we're going to go on to the live stream questions. Marvin's open though. Marvin Vettori, I don't think that fight is gonna happen. I did see Sean Strickland in an article or in an interview yesterday or the day before saying that even if you had the chance to, even if he was able to fight Marvin Vettori in a 5-round main event, 3-round fight, whatever the case may be, he said he wouldn't take the fight. That whole little debacle with Paulo Costa versus Vettori, where Paulo was coming in 205, 210 pounds, nowhere near the weight he was supposed to be. The UFC actually offered Sean Strickland to come in there and fight Marvin Vettori, and Sean said no, because Marvin Vettori trains with Sean Strickland and they are friends. So I don't think that fight's gonna happen. I think if Sean Strickland's gonna fight someone ranked above, it'll be either the loser of Cannonier Brunson or the loser of Whittaker Adesanya. Vettori is a tough fight for Strickland. That is a very, very tough fight, but is it going to happen? I do not think it will. Khamzat will be the double champ, maybe not hold them at the same time, but I think he's going to win the welterweight first and then move up. I agree. I do think by the time either Kamaru Usman retires, or by the time they inevitably do end up fighting each other, at that point, Usman's going to be a lot older, Khamzat's going to be more into the prime of his MMA career, and at that point, I think he really beats all the fighters. He has like 1, 2, maybe 3 more fights till he gets a title shot, unless he does get that Gilbert Burns fight. But either way, I do think he could go out there and just beat Usman right now, and at that point, how old is Khamzat Chimaev? He's not one of those guys that's becoming champion 31, 32 years old. The man's only 27 years old, so even if in the next 1 year he becomes champion in the welterweight division and goes out there and beats Usman, he still has 4, 5, 6 more good years to defend the belt a couple of times at welterweight and then move up to the middleweight division at like 29 to 30 years old and fight whoever the champion is at the time. I agree. I do believe Khamzat Chimaev will be the double champion of the welterweight and middleweight division. And who knows, maybe Khamzat after that, he's like, I want to be greatest of all time, triple champ. He's going to bulk up like John Jones is, and maybe goes up to the light heavyweight. There's so many things that can happen for Khamzat, but I do believe by the end of his career, probably going to be a double champion. I think women are less technical. There are very few fighters that actually look like a fluid fighter. Valentina, there's only a handful. Nunes throws a right hand like a man. That's true. What is up, Adam? We in this. Yeah, that's it for the comments right now. Any other comments you have? Any other questions, concerns, or anything about MMA in general, put them down in the comment section below and I will answer them. I think he embarrasses Berns, and then the fans will be beckoning for him to get a title shot. Now, that fight is a very, very interesting one. I agree. I do believe that if that fight happens with Khamzat Chimaev and Gilbert Burns, I would have to go Khamzat Chimaev to win that fight. He's a better wrestler in my opinion, not as good of a grappler. I do believe that the Gilbert Burns has the better submissions and things like that, but it's not really going to matter when you have with the devastating ground pound of Khamzat and the takedowns and the pressure on the feet. Khamzat's a better striker, he's the better wrestler, he's got the ground pound. Only thing really going for Gilbert is going to be that submission game. So again, I do have Khamzat winning that fight, and again, yeah, you're right. If he does go out there and starts Gilbert Burns, which is very, very likely to happen, we could definitely see Khamzat Chimaev, Kamaru Usman by the end of 2022. I'm not even lying. If this is the route that the UFC is willing to go and put Gilbert Burns, a guy that's only lost at Kamaru Usman, beating Mike Davis, Alexei Kuchenko, Gunnar Nelson, Damian Maia, Tyron Woodley, and Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, if they're electing to go to this route with Khamzat and Gilbert, we can definitely see, because Kamaru Usman's fighting Leon Edwards. I believe Kamaru's going to win that one. We're definitely going to see Khamzat go and fight the championship for the first time by the end of the year. But that is if he gets the fight with Gilbert the Reno Burns. And the like time period that they're looking to have the fight, I believe it's on UFC 274. If I'm getting that one right, that's the Oliveira Gaethje card. That's the Glover Teixeira, Yuri Prochazka card. It's not too sure what the main event's going to be, but right now, they don't have any other main card fights. They have a couple fights on the prelims. Blagojevich versus Marcos, Lupita, Ariani, Norman Lamont, Macy Chiasson. But they don't really have a lot of the main card type of fights that you would expect from a pay-per-view like this. So adding Khamzat Chimaev versus yet another Brazilian fighter on the card. Brazilian. Every single fight on here has at least one Brazilian. If we're able to add Khamzat Chimaev versus Gilbert Burns to this UFC 274 card, and then you got Usman versus Leon Edwards at UFC 275, we could definitely see that happening by the end of the year, because May 7th is UFC 274, and I'm assuming, this is my prediction as of right now, I do believe we're going to see Kamaru, the Nigerian Nightmare Usman, versus Khamzat, the Boris Chimaev, whatever his nickname is, December or November of 2022. That's my prediction. For as of right now, I think November, December, we're going to see Usman versus Chimaev, main event of a pay-per-view. Let's see, how did you do on DraftKings? Who were your dogs? I had Maximov, Chidi, and Witz. Castaneda cashed me out on the card. I plugged him in. I had Castaneda winning, and then Chidi, I had that as a 50-50. Maximov, again, those odds are horrendous. Having Puniho Soriano as a 2-1 favorite, that's a little iffy there, but I did have Puna slightly edging it out, but of course he did win. Castaneda was my only, I'm definitely going Castaneda to win as an underdog, but overall, we did pretty good. If you guys didn't catch the video we made yesterday, it was all of the bets that we did make on DraftKings, on FanDuel, and BetOnline, the 3 bookies that I personally use. If you want to see all the betting results we made on there, we made around $350 on the card. Pretty solid night. You can watch that video right here. UFC Fight Night, Hermansson versus Strickland, a full card at betting results. It was a pretty good night. We had some very, very good parlays hit. Shavkat Rakhmonov, Julian Rosa, we had Jonathan Almeida, and we also had the over on Jack Hermansson, Sean Strickland. We made a lot of money on the overs for the Hermansson Strickland fight. That's one of the fights you're not gonna expect to finish. Hermansson's not gonna submit Sean Strickland. Sean's a boxer looking to get the decision usually, so that's a fight you can feel pretty comfortable going with the overs on that one. So we made a lot of money going on the overs and plugging those overs in our parlays. Overall, it was a good night of betting, but let us see. The Wolf eats the Nomad for breakfast and still has room for brunch. Agree. I do believe he will have a little bit more. Every single fight he's done, whether it's Jinglian Lee, whether it's John Phillips, Reese McKee, Gerald Mershart, all of these fights, when he's done with them, when he gets the finish, when he gets the submission, the TKO, whatever the case may be, every single time you can see him stand up after the fight, and he literally looks like he can go another 3 rounds. He's not even putting any effort into these fights. He's literally looking at Dana, picking up Jinglian Lee, slamming him, and submitting him. I mean, he puts literally not that much effort into his fights. Eventually, he's going to have to put a little bit of effort once he fights like a Berns or a Usman or a Colby. But as of right now, he's not even putting in that much effort on these fights. It's absolutely insane. I did really well this past weekend. I got Malcolm. Ooh, that was an interesting one. The injury. Chidi Hakim by points. Battle by points. And Strickland by points. Got crushed on Puna. Yeah, Puna was one of the ones on there that I was like, his odds are a little iffy. I do have him winning, but it seems more like a dog or pass type of fight. Definitely not a parlay type of guy there. But, yeah, Chidi Njokuani did get me. I lost quite a bit on that one. Because I thought Mark would be able to... He's never been knocked out before. I thought his cardio in that second and third round would get him the win, but he gets knocked out the first ever time in his career. I did do good on Hakeem by decision and Hakeem in a parlay as well. Strange how there wasn't a whole lot of action in round 1, and Miles Johns was gassed. That pressure he just can't handle. I thought he'd be able to pull it out after not a whole lot in round 1 and grapple round 2 and then coast to round 3. I won 113 on $75. Very, very nice. I won $100 on a $50 bet on what's his name, on John Castaneda. But yeah, John Castaneda made me a decent amount of money on that one. Alex Alpha K, welcome to the channel. Lord Berts, what do you think of a matchup between Usman and Whittaker at 185 pounds? Now, that is very, very interesting that you brought the fight up, because Robert Whittaker was formerly a welterweight fighter. He fought Stephen Whittaker Thompson. He's fought so many other guys in the UFC welterweight division. He's undefeated except for the loss with Israel Adesanya at middleweight, but he did not have as easy of a journey in that welterweight division. That's the reason he did move up to middleweight, is because he did lose the fight to Thompson. He lost the fight to Court McGee. He lost to, I think that's it, just the Court McGee and Stephen Whittaker Thompson fights. But again, Court McGee out-wrestled him a little bit in that fight. It was a split decision, but it's very, very close. I would say, like, if they were to fight right now, they both weigh in at 185 and they just fight the day after like they usually do, I'd probably go Robert Whittaker, because he's kind of built himself to the 185-pound size frame. As of right now, Kamaru Usman, I would say maybe if he like vacates the welterweight belt and then puts on a full 6 months to 9 months of just bulking, getting bigger, kind of building himself into that middleweight frame, at that point, I would go Kamaru Usman. I think he's the more skilled guy. He's got a little bit better wrestling. He's got the better boxing. Of course, Whittaker is going to have the better kickboxing, but I do believe in that type of fight, we're going to see a lot of clinching from Usman, a lot of wrestling from Usman, and he probably win a hard-fought, close decision on the judges' scorecards. But again, that is if Usman is able to bulk up to that middleweight frame in like 9 months or something like that. He needs to do what John Jones is doing, where he's moving up to heavyweight. That's the same thing with Usman. If he's just going out there like a month from now and fighting Robert Whittaker, Robert Whittaker is going to win because there's no way Usman's going to have the strength and the size like he usually does to be able to bully people in the clinch and with the wrestling as well. And if that's the case, it'll be a striking fight, and Whittaker, being the bigger fighter, the faster fighter, the better kickboxer, is just going to win that fight in the striking. So it really depends on if Usman bulks up or if he just fights like he is right now in his welterweight frame. It depends on that one. Let us see. I think Whittaker would destroy Usman. Again, right now, yes, of course. But I don't know what's he going to look like if he builds up to that middleweight frame. He's going to look a heck of a lot bigger. Than he is right now, and that could be enough for him to go out there, clinch the heck out of Robert Whittaker, wrestle Robert Whittaker for a long time and win that way. I don't think it's going to happen with the size Usman is right now, so of course, for right now, I will be going Robert Whittaker. I won $500, no cap. Nice. Let's go, baby. Man, if my bookie offered things like stars for round 2, I'd be so happy. I really need to get off that site. Yeah, my bookie is probably the worst site you can go on. First off, they don't have the best props. Second off, the odds only come out to like 2 days before the actual fights happen, and it is such a hassle getting your money out of MyBookie. Like, do not use MyBookie. Use some of the main ones like BetOnline, DraftKings, FanDuel, all those ones. Do not use MyBookie. That's not not a bookie you want to be using. I think Usman's build works great for 170, 175, but guys at middleweight will give him a lot of trouble with his style. I won 230, and once Izzy and Derrick wins, I'll have a little over 500. I do believe Izzy wins, but I originally had Derrick Lewis winning that one by knockout. I actually switched my prediction to tie Tuivasa by a unanimous decision on those judges' scorecards. So I wouldn't be super confident on Derrick Lewis. It's a much closer fight than it really suggests there. Who do you have between Izzy and Derrick? I have Izzy decision and I have Tuivasa decision there, but yeah, the Lewis fight could go either way. Would not be doing that type of thing. If Whittaker wins, is there any chance Israel does not get an immediate rematch? There's no way. If Whittaker wins that fight, we're going to see Whittaker, Israel Adesanya, 5-round main event pay-per-view. And they're going to make a lot of money in that trilogy, of course. There's literally no way it's going to happen. There's no way Dana is going to be putting Cherant Cannonier versus Robert Whittaker, because Robert has already beat Cherant Cannonier. Derrick Brunson, I believe Robert Whittaker has already beat Derrick Brunson. So if there's a fighter out there that he's 1-1 with, would you rather see him fight a guy that he's 1-1 with in terms of Adesanya, or would you rather see him fight a guy that he's 1-0 with, like Cherant Cannonier or Derrick Brunson? It's a no-brainer to me. They'd have to do Adesanya. I mean, he's already beaten Cannonier and Brunson, so yeah, there's no way. Unless some crazy injury puts Adesanya out for like a year and a half or some stupid stuff. Let us see. Why should people become a member of your channel if we can see your bets for free? You can't see my bets for free. I put the bets out after the fight card is done, and I do my betting results. Again, I put my video yesterday after the card was done, giving my full card betting results. But as of right now, you don't know any of the bets that I'm gonna be making for UFC 271. So that's the only reason. If you want to see my bets before the fights actually happen, for UFC 271, for PFL Challenger Series, for UFC Fight Night, Bellator 274, 275, all of these things for literally 10 cents a day, that's the main reason I would do it. For free on YouTube. I don't put my bets on there for free on YouTube. I only do predictions for free on YouTube. Whittaker needs to go with calf kicks straight to the body when Izzy is leaning back and dodging head punches. Be more patient and make Izzy wrestle. I agree 100%. Derrick versus Ty, take the over. I agree. I think that fight is going to be a lot of hesitancy from both guys, and I think we're probably going to see that fight go over 1.5 rounds. I think Lewis Tuivasa is a 50-50. Agree. I already parlayed Izzy and Lewis. Should I cancel? I probably would. There's plenty of guys out there I'd be more confident in than Derrick Lewis. Lewis, I have Tuivasa winning. I made my prediction earlier on in the day. If you want to see that one, I did have Tuivasa winning the fight by decision due to the light kicks. That's not a fight you want to be parlaying. Let us see. Who do you have for Cannonier versus Brunson? I got Cannonier knockout in the second round, although I would not be surprised if Brunson decisions him, but It's one of those two things. We're going to see Derrick dominate a wrestling decision, 30-27 on those judges' scorecards, or we're going to see Jared land some crazy combination and knock the heck out of Derrick Brunson in the first or second round. Cannonier Brunson can go either. Oh my god, I had a burp stuck. Can go either way, but the momentum is in Brunson's favor, in my opinion. Definitely possible. Who do you think Usman? Okay, I'm reading this wrong. You think Usman personally called up Israel and apologized for supplying the PEDs that gave him the Gyno? That's a funny one. That's pretty funny right there. But I don't. Possibly. I mean, what do you say? Who should you be more confident with other than Lewis? Probably. I probably have to say Jeremiah Wells. Sir, I mean, there's a lot of guys I'm way more confident than Derrick Lewis. And I mean, I'm pretty much more confident than a lot of these guys. Jeremiah Wells, I'm more confident. Sergey Moraz, I'm more confident. Carlos Ulberg, probably pretty even confidence. Hernandez is a close fight. AJ Dobson, I'm more confident. I don't even have Derrick Lewis winning the fight, but I would say I'd probably be more confident. Like Wells, Morozov, AJ Dobson, Carlos Ulberg, Ronnie Lawrence. Pretty much every fighter I have winning, I'm more confident than Derrick Lewis winning, because I do not have Derrick Lewis winning. But yeah, it's a close fight. Could go either way. There's plenty of fights on here like Dobson, Malkoun. That could go either way. Hernandez, Moicano could go either way. What's another fight that can go either way? Cannonier, Brunson can go either way. Tuivasa, Lewis can go either way. There's plenty of those close fights on the card. Does Sean Strickland have any chance against Israel? I don't see him having a chance. It's MMA. He's got a chance out there, but he's mainly a boxer. Doesn't mix in the wrestling. Doesn't mix in any kicks. Israel knows how to stay at range and stay away from the pressure. He's got way better kicks at range. Yeah, Israel definitely wins that fight fairly easily. Bumpson is cast as a dog 3 or 4 times in a row now. You never know. Could be 4. Strickland takes on Izzy's Gyno is hilarious. Do you post all of your bets? I do. Every single bet that I make, UFC, Bellator, PFL, all that, I do post them about 1 week from the card. And then I add a few prop bets, because right now, there's literally no prop bets on any of the bookies except for Adesanya versus Whittaker. That's the only fight that really has betting odds as of right now. They put in a couple a little while ago for the over and unders, which I might be doing a couple bets there. I might add those in like an hour or two, but yeah, we post all the bets on there. Let's see. Derrick Lewis has a good record, though, and he beat Francis. Yeah, he did beat Francis, but it was another one of those, just they were not doing anything. But if he's going to beat Tuivasa, he's going to have to do something, because in the Lewis versus Ngannou fight, Lewis was kind of not really doing anything. Francis wasn't really doing anything. In this fight, if Lewis does what he did against Francis Ngannou, he's not going to win the fight, because Tuivasa is going to be chipping away at the leg kicks, and just the leg kicks alone will be able to get him that decision win. It's a close fight. It's a pretty close fight. He posts them after he makes prediction videos. So I make my prediction videos on who I just straight up think is going to win the fight. I post all my bets to the channel members. That would be the pinned comment that you see right there, and I do those ones about a week before the fights actually happen. Then after the fights are done, I give all of you guys the results to my betting on that given fight card. What is your betting percentage? It's about 50-50 on the best that I get right to the best that I get wrong. But that doesn't really show the full picture, because a lot of the bets I do are plus money bets. So if you're having 15 bets right, 15 bets wrong, which was the case for UFC Fight Night Hermansson versus Strickland, even though we had 15 and 15, we didn't break even on the card. We still ended up profiting 6.5 units, which in my case is around $325, because we made a lot more money on our plus money bets, like we did with some of the notable ones. Were the Strickland over 3 rounds in a parlay with Julian Erosa, Shavkat Rakhmonov, as well as Jonathan Almeida. We had Jonathan Almeida in a parlay. We had the over-unders on the main event. We have Shavkat by decision. We had so many bets on the card. We did end up going 15 and 15 on bets. Again, that doesn't really matter. If you're profiting off of those ones, 15 and 15 doesn't really matter as long as the ones that you are profiting on are plus money, which they were. Let's see. Shout out from the Philippines, Bert. What is up? Michael Angelo Ramirez. Hernandez is a good dog, I think. I agree. Hernandez, that my prediction earlier on in the day, he is one of my underdog predictions that I made on the card. The only underdogs I have winning on the card are Tuivasa. Let's go down the list. Alexander Hernandez, and that is about it. Everything else, I have all of the favorites winning, although there are some fights that could go out either way, like Dobbs and Malkoun, like, of course, the underdog bets that I do have, and then other fights that could go either way are definitely Cannonier versus Brunson as well, but I don't have the underdog in those ones. What is up, XV? Welcome to Berts Best Bets, but, yeah, all the bets, if you want to see them, they're in the channel membership tab. So if you go to my channel, you see the community tab on the top. It's one right over to the membership tab. So we put in some of our early UFC 271 bets. We have about 8 bets so far, but we will be adding plenty more once these prop bets do come out. And maybe if we see some cancellations and things like that, we will be adding a lot more bets. Usually we end like before the fight actually happens, we have around 20 to 25 different bets on every single fight card. So yeah, can't wait to see what we do on UFC 271. Let's see. Hernandez, yeah, I already read that one. Hi, greetings from Peru. What is up, Rayon? Waldir Cruz Huarca, you're the man, kid. Do you have UFC a pick'em group? I do not. I'm not too sure what that is. How do I see your best? I just went over that one. If TKZ pulls off the win over Volkanovski, how do you see it happening? I'd probably go submission. It's tough though, because if Volkanovski is able to go out there and defend the submissions on Ortega like he did, probably not gonna happen. So I would probably see. I don't see it happening. That's the thing. It's so hard to predict something that you do not see actually happening. So I would say some crazy spinning stuff. I mean, Volkanovski's the better striker, he's the better wrestler, he's the better grappler. He's better everywhere you look at it. It would just have to be some flash, crazy, spinning knockout or something. But again, I definitely have Volkanovski winning there. Cherant is a live dog. I don't think so. Maybe because of the cardio, but you already know Israel Adesanya, Dan Hooker, Kai Kara France, all of the guys that train with Carlos Ulberg, they know his biggest weakness is the cardio, so they probably know everything that he's been training in the last year, in the last 11 months, has been strictly cardio. So I think that cardio is going to be a lot better coming into this Fabio Cherant fight, and I think he should have no problem winning there. You're a good talker. I think I would like to say I am, and I would like to say that might be able to get me a contract to be a UFC commentator, Dana White Contender Series commentator, one of those type of things. Dana, if you're watching, come on, put me on Dana White's Contender Series. Something Ultimate Fighter. Come on, something, Dana, please. UFC pick is a TAB on ESPN where you can straight pick each fight. You can also make a group of friends to the group and share a link. Interesting. I've never actually heard of that one. My parlay lost to Gore. Yeah, Gore was not a parlay piece. The best I did lose on that one, I had Gore by a decision, and then I had Gore just straight up at like minus 150. But we made a little bit of that back on the over 2.5 and the decision prop on that Gore fight. But yeah, we were very, very close because we had, I believe it was plus 300 was the odds we had on Gore by decision. Very, very close. A little bit more volume in that third and final round. We could have got that bet to cash. So close. Let's see. Have you ever done the DraftKings DFS lineups? I haven't done any of those things. I lost that's sad to see. I lost $6,000 last UFC card. Eesh, that's not something we want to see here, but geez, that's a tough one there. How much are you betting per fight though? Jesus, you got, yeah, for some of the guys that are betting and losing that much money, $6,000, $7,000. I heard someone lost $15,000 on UFC 270 because they had a lot of money on Cyril Gane for some reason. There's no reason you're putting that much money on Cyril Gane, but yeah, dude, if you're losing that much money, you need to dial it back. You need to take a big picture look at all of your bets, see what you're doing wrong, lower your bet size a little bit, and put a little bit less money down. Because I mean, $6,000 in one night, that you're betting a little bit too much there. Roxanne Modafferi by backflip transition to flying knee. Oh my god. Flying knee knockout. Oh, what? Okay. Okay, but oh my god, dude. 3,000 per fight. Oh my Jesus. Why are you betting so much, man? That's a lot of money to be betting on 1 or 2 fights. I usually bet maybe $50 to $100 for every single one of my fights. That is, damn, that's a big oof right there. Dang, oh my gosh. Yeah, don't be like Trap Flitch. Do not lose $6,000 in one night. That's all I'm gonna take from that one. But yeah, Jesus, oh my gosh. But yeah. I can't wait for UFC 271 though. Isn't FAC happening right now or something? I believe. Oh yeah, we have some underdogs winning tonight. We had Josh Frem get the submission, Don Chinese to get the decision win. A lot of underdogs winning on that card. So maybe I should have done a review on FAC 12. Could have made a little bit of money there, but I don't know too much about those regional type of fights, so I'm not gonna put money on those ones that I don't know about. But yeah, some of the props have just been announced. I don't know why they just announced only like 2 bets. It's very, very weird why they do that. And then they just put out all the other bets like 3 or 4 days before the fight happens, even like 2 days before the fight happens. But yeah, once this live stream is over, I'm definitely gonna be putting a few bets in on the over unders here. Definitely gonna be doing that because I see a couple of things that might make me want to put a little bit on some of those. Let's see. Holy blank on DraftKings. I don't bet where you can enter more than 20 lineups. I like the 1 to 5 possible entries. Most I generally put is 5. I do the 0.25, 0.10, $1 and $2 betters. Let's see. Think of it as an investment. Double your initial deposit, withdraw the amount you deposited, and now you're playing with house money. Got some ballers in the room. Yeah, these guys are going crazy on these bets. Best cards are in March, I think. Trap Finch. Keep your head up, big dog. This just the setback for the comeback. Blood Diamond from Alex McDonald. I don't think Blood Diamond wins, man. I mean, dude, he's not as good of a wrestler, not as good of a grappler. Not as much power as Jeremiah Wells. Jeremiah's just honestly better everywhere but the kickboxing. So it's a pretty close fight right there. But one second, I gotta put my dogs to sleep. So I'm gonna do that really quick. But I will be back very, very shortly. One sec. All right, we are back. So I just had to put my dogs to sleep in their cages. This is where my dogs sleep. So yeah, just had to put them away really quick. Bro, get your first MMA fight or boxing or kickboxing fight. I'm excited to see what you can do. I really, really want to. I'm gonna be honest with you. I have the bias on myself because I'm myself. I'm not necessarily going to go out there and say I'm the best wrestler, I'm the best grappler, I'm the best striker, jiu-jitsu guy, or anything like that. I really don't care. I can go out there in a boxing match 2 days from now and get absolutely demolished for however much rounds that fight is and get knocked out in the second round. I do not care. I really just want to build my experience as of right now. I'm trying to convince the parents to kind of get me into a boxing or kickboxing fight. So hopefully in 2022, because I do turn 16 years old by the end of 2022, hopefully by that time, or maybe even in the next few months or something, we can get myself a kickboxing or boxing fight. Those would be the main two. I'm definitely not going to get an MMA fight or anything. You got to be 18 years old. But I would like to get myself a boxing fight at least, bro. I don't want to see this guy get hurt. I'm not going to get hurt, man. And if I do get hurt, I will make it an absolute war, and it'll be fight of the night. That's my main motto. If my fight, I'm getting absolutely destroyed by some Khamzat Chimaev looking dude, I'm going to go crazy out there. I'm going to go for crazy hooks. Every single time he goes for a takedown, I'm going to hop on a guillotine. I'm going to be throwing up kicks. I'm going to be throwing elbows from the bottom. I'm going to be as active as possible to make the fight as crazy and as amazing for the fans as I can possibly make it. I don't care about becoming a UFC champion. I don't want to become a top 15 fighter. I want to have the most exciting fights I can possibly have. I'm working on my wrestling. I'm working on my boxing, my kickboxing, my jiu-jitsu, all of that. I want to be a decent MMA fighter, but I also want to absolutely make some crazy fights as well. And I want there to be blood involved. I want some elbows of mine to land. I want every single fight of mine. I want my opponent to be coming out there looking like Darren Elkins every single time, because that's just the type of fighter I am. That's what I would love to do. Is my goal. If it's an MMA fight, I want to have cut every single one of my opponents in my MMA career. If I'm about to latch onto a rear naked choke submission, I'm gonna let go and just keep on elbowing until I cut them or something. I'm just gonna go crazy and make the fights as amazing as they can possibly be. That's what I would probably be doing. Do you see value on Brunson? I see value on maybe a decision prop, but straight money line, probably not. I don't think they have decision props just yet, but once they do come out, that's where the value would probably lie. Would be on a decision bet there. Lil Steel has already expressed his interest in competing for sure. I'm 50-50 on that fight. No idea why Jared's such a big favorite. Yeah, value on Bumston for sure, but they always call him Bumston. Can you share the links on your betting sites? In the... go to my Instagram. I'll DM them to you. Instagram. Look up right here. Bert_MMA. Go to this Instagram right here and just DM me, and I'll send you the links on here. Bert_MMA. Because I know every time I put in like a DraftKings, FanDuel, Bet Online, if I put that into YouTube, they end up blocking it or taking down the live stream for some reason. So I don't know if I'm able to put that on here. But yeah, go to the Instagram and then. And then DM me, and I'll send you the links to the my favorite betting websites. Have you ever competed? I fought pro in Muay Thai in Thailand. Nice. That's the place to be if you're fighting Muay Thai. Personally, no, I have not competed in MMA, kickboxing, or boxing. I have done some wrestling matches, some jiu-jitsu matches, and things like that. But yeah, I'm definitely looking. 2022, I'm definitely looking to have 1 or 2 boxing and kickboxing bouts for sure. Oh, buddy, you young. You need to fight amateur as much as you can. I agree. I'm trying to convince the parents here. I gotta convince them, man. They're just they're not listening a little bit right now. They don't want me to get brain damage and things like that. But I mean, come on. Life is short. Let me go out there, have some fun, have an amazing fight in boxing and kickboxing, whatever the case may be. Gotta give me some experience. Come on, guys. It's all about the most money and easiest fight. Look, please don't say that until you have fought, little guy. I have sparred a little bit, and we did go all out yesterday at boxing practice. It was fun, but I don't care. That's the type of fighter I want to do. That's what I am. That's what I'm doing in sparring. We go all out in sparring. Got the headgear on, of course, and stuff like that. But yeah, that's the type of fighter I want to be. Now, of course, my thoughts might change once I get into the fight game. Maybe I don't want to be eating that much shots, but as of right now, I want to be that type of guy. I'm obviously talking about your first amateur fight. Yeah, for sure. Easiest fight for the most amount of money. What do you think of this parlay? O'Neal over 1.5 main event. Bobby and over 1.5 Arlovsky. I think all of them will hit. O'Neal very confident. Over 1.5. I mean, that's where the fight kind of ended in their first matchup, but they should be a little bit more hesitant this time around. That one should go over. Bobby should definitely win. I'm confident on him. And Arlovsky, he's a decision type of guy, so those should all definitely hit. You're at the age where you can compete kickboxing and boxing as much as you can. Do you see any mismatches on the card? The only mismatches would probably be Roxanne Modafferi, because Roxanne's just way better everywhere you look at it. Another mismatch, Ronnie Lawrence, and then Jeremiah Wells. Those are the biggest mismatches of the card. Let us see. My advice to you is you want to lose in your amateur career. That's true. Don't go out there expecting to keep an undefeated amateur MMA career. It's an amateur career for a reason, to build your experience. If there's a Khamzat Chimaev looking dude and they're saying you want to fight him, say yes. Build your experience. Fight that Khamzat Chimaev, Kudabarakan Isturahimov, whatever his name is. Fight that guy so you know how to how to better compete with that type of guy later on in your professional MMA career. I agree, it's definitely some good experience to lose a couple of times in your amateur career. That is why if I'm ever able to have an amateur MMA fight, the first fight I have, I'm not going to look for some random 0-1, 40-year-old random fighter on the regional scene. I'm going to look for some guy that is like 7-0 as an amateur MMA fighter. I'm going to call that guy out, and I'm going to do that fight, because you got to build the experience. You got to fight the best of the best wherever you are, whether that's amateur, whether that's pro. You got to fight the best of the best. Think about guys in the UFC. There's plenty of guys out there that like Christian Giagos. His last fight was with Arman Tsarukyan. Nobody thought Christian Giagos was going to win that fight, but it's a win. It's a win-neutral situation. There's no way he's going to lose there, because if he loses that fight to Arman Tsarukyan, he gains experience, and we were expecting him to lose anyway. He's a top 15 fighter, so there's not really much you're losing there, and the UFC is still going to keep you. That you fought a very, very good fighter. If you're fighting Islam Makhachev, just take the fight. You're building your experience. You're fighting a newer type of fighter that you've never faced before, and if you lose the fight, which you probably will if you're fighting like an Islam Makhachev, no one's going to be like, oh, you lost to Islam Makhachev, you suck. They're going to be like, oh, he only lost to Islam Makhachev. That's the only guy this guy is losing to, is the best of the best. So yeah, I agree. If I'm an amateur in MMA or boxing, the first thing I'm going to do is go for the best of the best and just test myself. You don't want to start low and just start destroying random 40-year-olds and very, very young, inexperienced fighters. You want to fight the experienced guys and build your own experience. Let's see. Khamzat versus Shavkat prediction. I have Khamzat by a decision right there. 3 rounds, I got Khamzat decision. 5 rounds, I got Khamzat by a finish. Brunson or Cherant, I got Cherant winning. If I could go back and redo my teams, is focus less on work and school and be more connections, communicating with people, and building dreams. How many amateur fights until you go pro? I would say about 15 to 20. I want to be... If you guys remember, he's about to fight on the UFC London card. It's Mohamed Mokaev. I spoke to him. I DM'd him on Instagram. He commented on a couple of my videos, but he's currently going to fight. He's the youngest fighter in the UFC right now. He is 21 years and 7 months old. Very, very young guy out there. But if you look at his amateur career, fighting since 2015 right there, when he was 15 years old. That is how old I am currently right now. And he had, let's see, 23 amateur MMA fights. That'd be roughly around the amount of fights that I would like to have as well. 15 to 20 amateur fights. And if by that time I'm on like a 5-6 fight win streak, whatever the case may be, if I'm confident enough in my skills, confident that I build the experience, fought enough different varieties of competition, I'll move up to the professional MMA fighting scene like Mohamed Mokaev did, and I'll work through that as well. So I would say 15 to 20. Have you ever heard of Street Beefs, and do you have any thoughts of it? I have heard of Street Beefs. I actually have a training partner that fought on Street Beefs. He was champion. His name is David Wilson. Right here, you might know him more as a Baby Hulk, but this is one of the guys I wrestle with and grapple with every now and then. He's coming off some really good wins as an amateur, decision win, and then a Darce choke and a 3rd round submission. He's going to be fighting in his MMA, professional MMA debut in like, 20 days or around 3 weeks. So that's the only guy I know personally that's fought on Street Beefs. He's very, very small, like 4'11", 5 foot. As it shows right there, but yeah, that's the only guy I know that's been on Street Beefs. Let's see. Do you think Joe Alvarez could beat Tsarukyan? Could? Yes. He's got the submission. He's got the size. He has the power to finish that fight. But if he doesn't finish, he's going to lose that fight. Who do you have for Islam versus Beneil? I have Beneil because he can stand up and wrestle. I have Islam Makhachev winning, but you're right. Beneil, he could possibly be able to defend a couple of those takedowns from Islam Makhachev, keep the fight on the feet, and edge Islam Makhachev out in the striking. I think eventually Islam will be able to get the takedown. Eventually. It's a good chance Beneil could win there. It's a pretty good fight there. But yeah, I'd probably go Islam by maybe a late submission. third or fourth round, something like that. At least 5 MMA, 15 into 20, including kickboxing and boxing. No, I want to have 15 to 20 MMA amateur fights and like 40 amateur kickboxing and boxing fights. I want to get as much experience as I possibly can before becoming a pro. Because once you become pro, there's no really looking back. Yeah, you might be able to book another amateur fight, but they're kind of going to look at you a little bit weird if you're going to pro, then going back to amateur, things like that. So yeah, just try to get as much experience as possible. If I cut down to 150 weekend fights, Owen Johnson, yeah, if you cut down to 150, you and me cannot fight. I currently weigh 131 pounds, something like that. I'm a very, very small guy. Definitely a flyweight fighter in the UFC. So yeah, 150, no chance. I would get absolutely mauled. I feel like the UFC has been cutting a lot of young, developing fighters lately, that they could have a lot of potential, but keeping people like Alvey, yeah, it doesn't really make too much sense. I don't know how they still have Alvey on their roster. Dozen plus amateur MMA fights is ideal. Bert MMA. Bert will be 15-0. You never know. Bert Boris is gonna be walking out to Dagestan with the Habib hats. Boris equals Bert for sure. Boris does equal Bert. I would have to agree there. Remember the Jan Izzy fight where Rogan was acting like Israel was definitely ahead in the stand-up, even though it was actually super close. You think Israel's image as the best striker in the UFC clouds judges? Maybe a little bit. Like they might see a little bit of the flashiness of Israel Adesanya and see a guy like Jan Blachowicz landing arguably the more effective and powerful shots, but they're seeing the flashiness of how good Israel is on the feet, doing his movement, landing his kicks. They might just give the round to Israel Adesanya because of how good he moves and how good of a kickboxer he is, rather than focusing on the actual shots that were landing. So I could agree there a little bit. Let's see. Did Sean Strickland do enough to get himself into title talks, or do we need to see what happens at UFC 271? Were you disappointed in Hermansson or expected? I pretty much expected exactly that to happen, and I do believe Strickland did not do enough to get a title shot. He has to get one more win, whether it's the loser of Cannonier versus Brunson or the loser of Whittaker versus Adesanya. When they do scorecards in this Whittaker fight, I don't know. It'll be an interesting one. I have Derrick in 3 parlays. Eesh. If I cancel, I'll have 357. But if he wins, I'll have 547. Do I take the risk? I say no. I would say no. That's not. I would not keep Derrick Lewis in a parlay there. It's possible he goes out there and wins. It's a very, very close fight. Just Derrick Lewis is not a parlay type of guy. He's just not that type of guy there. How tall are you, Berts? I am 5'8" tall. 5'8" tall, 131 pounds. I'm not too sure how long my arm is, but I might have to measure that out in the next couple of days. Can't wait to see Bert fight Hasbulla. Oh my god. Money! We're gonna make so much on that pay-per-view for sure. XV cancel. Don't have Lewis on 3 parlays low. Yeah, Lewis, nah, not a parlay type of guy. Boris a triple C Magomedov. Bert is probably still growing. I am. I'm only 15 and a half years old probably. I think that's right around where I am. So I still have, I would say, a few more inches in me. My uncle was like 6'7" tall. My dad's 6'1" tall. My mom's 5'8" tall. So I got a little bit more growing in the tank. I kind of want to be, if you guys know the guy Mo Miller, he fought on Contender Series, then he fought on like the Looking for the Fight in the UFC as well or something like that. But not Mo Mauler, Mo Miller. Let me put it in. Tapology, but this is the guy I kind of want to resemble in terms of size, in terms of height, in terms of reach. Is going to be a guy like Mo Miller. He's 5'8" tall, 72" reach, and that's the guy I kind of want to be like. Very good wrestler, very good grappler, explosive striking, pretty tall for the division. But I don't want to be 5'8" in the bantamweight division. I want to be 5'8" in the flyweight division. I have around a 72" reach. I think the last time I checked, it was like 71 or 70 and a half, something like that. So, yeah, if I were to fight in the UFC, it would be at flyweight. I'd probably be like 5'9" tall, with like a 71" reach. And yeah, I'd probably fight at flyweight, but sorry about that. But yeah, this is the guy I most want to resemble my fighting style after. Very good wrestler, tall, lengthy, Very good movement on the feet. Let's see. People don't talk enough about the absolute mauling Almeida delivered to Marquez. That was complete domination. Dude is going to be an absolute beast in the light heavyweight division. Yeah, dude, Jonathan Almeida. This dude is the real deal. I said it in his fight on Dana White's Contender Series. I thought this guy could be a future top 15 fighter because of how tall and how lengthy the guy is. You look right here. Sorry about that. He's... God dang. I might have corona. 1 second, y'all. Alright, so sorry about that, but yeah, he's a very tall, lengthy guy for the light heavyweight division. For him to have a 79-inch reach and be 6 foot 3 inches tall, as big as he is, he probably came out there on fight night, 225, 230 pounds. He's really big, very lengthy. His striking is very underrated, really good grappling. He took down Danilo Marquez, who's a very, very good wrestler. I'm going to be honest with you. If we look at the UFC rankings right now, I think he beats most of the guys. I had him winning on the Contender Series against Nasruddin and Nasruddinov. Of course, I had him beating Danilo Marquez, but I'm going to be honest. He beats Ion Cutelaba. He beats Jimmy Crute. He beats Ryan Spann. He beats Jamal Hill. He beats Paul Craig because he does have better striking than Paul, and he's a lot bigger than Paul. He beats Johnny Walker. He beats Nikita. He beats Volkan. He beats Dominic Reyes. Magomed Ankalaev's very, very close. He beats Thiago Santos. He beats Anthony Smith. He beats Rakic. And then he beats Jan Blachowicz. And he beats Glover Teixeira. The only two guys I think have a very, very good shot at beating Jonathan Almeida are going to be Magomed Ankalaev and Yuri Prochazka. Those are the only two guys I see as being very, very close fights with Jonathan Almeida. But as for right now, I think Jonathan Almeida is top 5 caliber. I think he beats everyone else. Outside of the top 6, he beats everyone, and in the top 6, he beats literally half, if not 3/4 of the top 6. Future champion, in my opinion. I am hyped on Jonathan Almeida. I am hyped on Shavkat Rakhmonov. The prospects of the night and the future champions of the night, Almeida and Shavkat, those I am very, very hyped on those two. Those dudes are absolute beasts. Bert, I'm basically taller than you now. You'll be 6 foot, probably 5. I'm hoping to be 5'9" or 5'10". But if I'm 6 foot, maybe I'll have to move to the bantamweight division. But I would really like to stay at the flyweight division. That's my goal. Just stay down at the flyweight division. And be champion there or something like that. I don't really want to go up to the featherweight or bantamweight division. I want to stay towards the flyweight division because there's not really too many wrestlers down there. I don't know what it's going to look like, the UFC flyweight division, like 5 years from now or anything like that. But for right now, there's not really the most really, really good wrestlers and grapplers in the flyweight division. There's a couple here and there, Tagiro Lambekov, Amir Albazi, Brandon Royval, Askar. Those are the only guys that are pretty solid on the ground. But I would like to be another one of those really solid guys in the grappling and wrestling in that flyweight division. So if I'm like 5'11", 6 foot tall, I'll probably have to move to the bantamweight division. But I really would hope to stay at the flyweight division. I don't know why. I want to stay in the flyweight division. Those are my thoughts on that. Will you be betting on Brunson? Will I? I will not. Where do you think Hasbulla ranks in the UFC greatest of all time list? And what do you think his most impressive win is? I would say he'd probably be number 1 on the greatest of all time list. He's better than John Jones. As we saw in the grappling bout that happened about a year and a half ago, he flying armbar John Jones about, I believe, it was like 3.5 seconds in the very first round. So he submitted John Jones. He knocked out Francis Ngannou with his toe. He submitted Cyril Gane with the pinky. He knocked out Francis Ngannou like twice in his career. He beat Israel Adesanya with a heel hook. He knocked out Kamaru Usman with his pinky as well. I mean, he's done so many good things in the UFC. He's got to be number 1, of course, for sure, number 1. That would definitely be where Hasbulla is. But the most impressive would be the pinky knockout of 1998 against Israel Adesanya. I mean, one pinky right on the chin, put him out cold. It was a crazy finish. Let's see. You might also have to dry throat from talking too much. I don't know, man. I had something stuck in there. It was very weird. You have a good MMA head on your shoulders. Keep pushing yourself every day. Tell Sergeant Major Gyno said hello. I messed up the name a lot there. I definitely will. That's my dad, Sergeant Major Robert Tellez. We got the same name actually. I'm Robert Tellez, and my dad, Sergeant Major Robert Tellez as well. Alvey got choked out crazy. So many were on him as a dog. I took Gordon. He didn't get knocked out. I thought you said he got knocked out. Yeah, he got choked out in that one. Random, but do you think Stipe and/or Ngannou fight again in 2022, not versus each other? I do not think Ngannou does, but I think Stipe John Jones happens by the end of 2022. Gordon upset me badly at the shoulder injury. It was nasty, guys. Was Malcolm Gordon's performance a fluke or super impressive? Fluke, because Dennis Monder literally got injured in the fight, so it was definitely a fluke there. Paulo Costa versus Sean Strickland. I would go Strickland, a decision. Bert is a future George Roop of flyweight, George Roop 2.0. Can't wait to see her fight. Can't wait to see me fight Francis. I can't wait as well. It's going to be an amazing one. Was Brendan Allen's performance impressive? Is it enough for a pay-per-view spot or co-main events? I would have to say no. He would be maybe one fight away from that like co-main event type of fight. So one more good win, then maybe gets that into the talk for the co-main event type of fight. But for right now, a winner versus Dan Alvey, that's not going to put you a co-main event, pay-per-view main event, or anything like that. So I would say a no for that one. Alex McDonald also says a no. XV, I'm thinking about a parlay with Kyler Phillips, Alex Perez, Casey O'Neill, Ronnie Lawrence, and Israel Adesanya. I would switch Israel Adesanya with where is he? Where is he? Let's go to best fight odds really quick. I would probably switch him with Jeremiah Wells. I believe his odds are going to be better, and I'm honestly a little bit more confident in Jeremiah Wells winning than I am in Israel Adesanya winning. So I would do the same exact parlay, just do Jeremiah Wells instead. I'm confident in all the other ones. Let's see. Brendan Allen does not have a chin. Yeah, that chin is gone for Brendan Allen for sure. Let's see. Miles Johns got me mad. I ended up betting John Castaneda. That was my prediction. I had Castaneda by a decision, but of course, he got the finish in that fight. Really good one there. Are you interested in Moreno versus Figueiredo 4? Maybe in the future, but I would say the winner of Askar Askarov Kaikara France fights Davison, and then Brandon maybe fights, I don't even know. But I would say just wait a little bit. Wait a little bit on that fight. Just a little while longer. Do you think Michael Morales, Jack Shore, and Lerone Murphy are good stock pickups? Morales sitting at $133, Shore is at $1, and Murphy is at $103. Murphy, I'm a little iffy on because his grappling did not look good against Mako and Amirkhani, but Michael Morales and Jack Shore, I think are very, very solid guys for the future, but how long are we in it? We're about 1 hour into the live stream, so we are going to end the live stream right here. Thank you guys for all checking out the live stream. We had a lot of different things that we talked about in this one. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure to check out the Bert MMA Q&A podcast next Sunday as well, if you don't want to miss what we've been talking about today. But thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in next week's live stream. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.